Finding my wife with her lover in our bedroom, she didn't apologize. Instead, she simply invited me to join them. Me 29 years old, living in Phoenix, working as a software architect, married to Lisa for 8 years. Life was going perfectly, at least I thought so. Come home late Tuesday evening after overtime at work, expecting quiet dinner with wife. Something felt off for months. That gut feeling you can't explain. Been ignoring it, trying to convince myself everything's fine. Our marriage wasn't perfect. But whose is? Lisa always busy lately, always distant. Kept telling myself it's just stress, just the routine getting to us. We've been together long enough to handle rough patches. That's what I kept telling myself, until I caught her. Came home early one day. Wasn't supposed to be there. Meeting got canceled last minute. Walk into our bedroom. Freeze in the doorway. Can't process what I'm seeing. Lisa in our bed, with some random guy I've never seen before. Tall guy. Muscular. Younger looking. First thought hits me. How fucking cliche. Cheating wife with younger lover. Would be funny if it wasn't my life. Lisa doesn't even flinch when she sees me. Just turns her head. Cool expression like I caught her reading a book. Not naked with another man. Hey babe, she says, like we're discussing what to order for dinner. Not the fact she's in bed with someone else. Her casual tone makes me want to throw up. No attempt to cover up. No apology. Just lying there like it's perfectly normal. The guy looks startled at least. Tries to sit up. Lisa puts her hand on his chest. Pushes him back down. Like she's reassuring him. Like I'm the one intruding in my own house. Can't speak. Can't move. Every part of me screaming to do something. Yell. Throw something. Punch the guy. But I'm just standing there. Paralyzed by how insane this is. This isn't how I imagined finding out about my wife's affair. Wasn't supposed to be here. Wasn't supposed to see this. Then she says something that breaks my brain. Why don't you join us? Must have heard wrong. Maybe I'm dreaming. Or having some kind of mental breakdown. My wife couldn't have just said that. Couldn't have just invited me to bed with her and this guy. But her eyes tell me different. Cold and calculating. She actually said exactly what I thought she did. And the worst part, she wasn't joking. 1,000 thoughts rushing through my head. None of them make sense. Caught my wife cheating. And her first move is to offer me a front row seat. No shame. No guilt. Just an invitation. What? I finally managed to say. My voice sounds raw. Like I haven't used it in years. Lisa sits up, her long blonde hair falling around her shoulders. Gives me this small smile. Almost playful. Haven't seen that smile in years. Used to be just for me. I've been thinking about this for a while, she says. Like we're discussing weekend plans. Or buying new furniture. You and me, him together. I thought it might spice things up. Stare at her trying to process. But my brain won't cooperate. This can't be real. My wife of 8 years. The woman I built a life with. Wants me to join in on her affair. Not enough that she's cheating. She wants to make me part of it. Can't wrap my head around it. Can't make sense of any of it. But Lisa just watches me, waiting for an answer. And her lover just lies there. Like this is something he does all the time. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm not the first husband to walk in on them. Shake my head in disbelief. Not really answering her proposition. Are you serious? I finally say, voice louder than intended. You think I'm going to join you? She just shrugs. Like my outrage is an overreaction. Why not? She asks, tone casual as summer breeze. People do it all the time. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. That's what she calls it. Not the betrayal. Not the lies. Not the months or years of deception. Makes it sound like a minor inconvenience, just a small bump in our marriage. Something that can be fixed with some adventurous sex. Feel anger building inside. Threatening to explode, but keep it in check. Barely. Fists clenched at my sides. Nails digging into my palms. Still can't move. Still too stunned to do anything, but stand there frozen. She stands up slowly, deliberately, like she's giving me a show. Turn away in disgust. Bed creaks as her lover shifts, clearly unsure of his role in this mess. Maybe he thinks I'll go crazy, or maybe he thinks I'll join in like she wants. Hell, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. You don't have to decide right now, she says, her voice low and seductive. Steps toward me. Reaches out, flinch when her fingers brush against my arm. Feel sick? Revolted by her touch. Just think about it, okay? Think about it. Push her hand away. Hard enough that she stumbles back. You're insane, I spit out, finally finding my voice. You've lost your goddamn mind. First time since I walked in. See actual emotion cross her face. Anger, maybe. Or frustration. Don't care. She deserves worse than anger. She deserves nothing from me. Before she can say anything else, turn and leave. Don't know where I'm going. Just need to get out. Can't stay there. Not with her, not with him. Not in the home I thought was mine. Not in the marriage I believed was real. Need to get out before I lose control. Drive for hours that night. No destination. No plan. just the road and engine humming, trying to keep me sane. Mind spinning with what happened. My wife, the woman I've shared 8 years with, just threw her affair in my face, and worse, suggested I join in. Mix of disbelief, anger, and humiliation. How long has this been going on? How many times have they been together? In my house, in my bed, how many lies have I swallowed? Been completely blind to what's happening. Pull over at some 24-hour burger joint. Park in the darkest corner of the lot. Sit there in the darkness, trying to wrap my head around everything. Keep seeing them together, like some sick movie on repeat. Can't make it stop. Grip the steering wheel so tight, knuckles turning white. She didn't care. That's the worst part. No guilt when I caught her. No shame. Just casual indifference. Like I'm the one overreacting. Pull out my phone, stare at the screen, half tempted to call her. Demand answers. Stop myself. What's the point? She made it clear how she feels. Lisa crossed a line. No coming back from this. Throw phone onto passenger seat. Stare out the window. My reflection stares back. Tired, broken, confused. Guy in the mirror looks like a fool. A man who got played. Slam my hand against the dashboard. Pain barely registers. What now? Have no idea. Home doesn't feel like home anymore. Marriage is a joke. Think about driving back. Kicking the guy out. Tearing into Lisa. But what would that solve? They'd just end up together again. With or without me. My chest tightens. Notice I'm shaking. She destroyed us. Shattered everything we built. And she didn't even flinch. All the years of trust. The years of love. None of it mattered to her. Was it all a lie? Was she always this person? Or did she change somewhere along the way? And I just didn't notice? Rest my head against the steering wheel, trying to breathe through the anger. Burger joint's lights flicker in the distance. World outside feels surreal, like it's happening to someone else. Dark thought creeps in. Twisted one. Maybe I should have accepted her offer. Maybe if I had just said yes, gone along with her sick fantasy, could have gained some control over the situation. At least then I wouldn't be the outsider. Wouldn't be the victim. Could have taken back some power. The power she stripped from me. But that's crazy. No way I'm playing along with that. Not in a million years. Still, the thought won't leave. What if? What if joining them could have given me the upper hand? Could have turned the tables on her and her lover. Could have used it against her later as leverage. The idea makes me sick, but part of me keeps thinking about it. Have to get out of my own head before I lose it completely. The burger joint's still open. Need to clear my mind. Grab my phone and wallet. Get out of the car. Walk across the empty lot. Cool night air does nothing to help. Nerves still raw. Place nearly empty. Tired-looking cashier behind counter. Wiping down the surface with a rag. Couple truckers at a booth in back. Drinking coffee. Talking in low voices. Slide into booth by the window. Grateful for the quiet. Cashier comes over. Offers tired smile. Hands me a menu. Coffee? She asks. Yeah, I mutter. Not really hungry. Just need something to do with my hands. Thanks. She disappears behind counter. Stare blankly at menu. Words blur together. Normalcy of it all feels wrong. World carrying on like usual. While mine just collapsed, part of me wonders if this is my fault. Did I drive Lisa away somehow? Was I not enough for her? Things had been distant between us for a while now, but figured that was normal. The natural ebb and flow of long-term relationships. Happens to everyone eventually, right? But maybe that distance wasn't normal. Maybe it was a sign I missed. Sign that she was slipping away, finding excitement elsewhere, with someone who made her feel alive. In ways I couldn't anymore. Cashier returns with coffee. Sets it down with quiet thud. Thank her. Stare into black liquid. My reflection rippling on surface. Easier to focus on coffee. Then chaos in my head. Then hear door open. Glance up. Feel my blood freeze. It's him. Lisa's lover. Walking in like he owns the place. Like this is just another normal night. His eyes scan around the burger joint, carefully looking at every corner. When they land on me, he smiles. That same cocky grin from earlier. The one I saw when I walked in on them. For a second, think I'm having hallucination. That maybe my mind is playing cruel tricks. But no, this is real. He's actually here. As real as the coffee cup in my hand, and he's walking straight toward my table. Like he belongs here. Tighten my fists under the table, balling them up until it hurts. What the hell is he doing here? Did he follow me all this way? Or is this some kind of twisted coincidence? My heart pounds against my chest, getting faster with each step he takes. Then he just slides into booth across from me, completely uninvited, acting like we're old friends meeting for coffee. Hey, he says casually, leaning back in the seat like he owns it. Small world, huh? Just stare at him silently. Don't trust myself to speak right now. Might do something I'll regret. What kind of person walks into a place like this and sits across from the husband of the woman he was just in bed with? The woman he's been screwing behind my back. Does he have some kind of death wish? But he doesn't seem bothered by my silence. If anything, he looks amused by the whole thing. Like this is some kind of entertaining game to him. Picks up the menu in front of him. Flips through it like he's actually going to order. "I saw you leave," he says while browsing. His tone's so calm it makes my blood boil. "Figured you'd want to talk about everything." "Talk," I finally managed to snap out, keeping my voice low but full of venom. "About what exactly?" He shrugs like we're discussing the weather, sets the menu down carefully, leans forward onto the table, resting his elbows there casually. "About Lisa," he says simply. "About us, about this situation. About how this doesn't have to be as bad as you're making it." Blink at him several times, too stunned by his audacity to respond. This guy actually has the nerve to sit here right in front of me. Try to explain how sleeping with my wife, how destroying my marriage, is somehow no big deal. Like we could just sit here, have a friendly chat about him sleeping with my wife. Like it's a normal topic of conversation. "You're out of your mind," I hiss at him, barely keeping my voice under control. He smiles again, that same smug smile, completely unfazed by the anger in my voice. "Am I really the crazy one here?" he asks. "Or am I just giving you a different option? You could leave right now if you want. File for divorce, walk away. Completely ruin everything you've built. Or you could stay and work with us. Make something new work between all of us." I'm completely dumbfounded by his words. He's actually serious about this. Really thinks I would even consider it. That I would entertain the idea for 1 second of sharing my wife with him. Like we're going to form some kind of partnership. Push my coffee away from me in disgust. My hands shaking with rage I can barely contain. "Get the hell away from me," I spit out, speaking through teeth clenched so tight they might break. But he doesn't move an inch, doesn't even flinch at my tone. "You don't have to decide anything now," he says, voice still cool and collected. "Just think about what I'm offering. I know what you saw tonight was difficult, but it doesn't have to be the end of everything. We can find a way to make this work. All of us can get what we want from this." "Want?" Can't listen to another word of this insanity. Stand up so fast my legs hit the table. Make the booth scrape loudly against floor. Need to get out of here right now. Before I completely lose control. Before I do something that lands me in jail. Storm out of the burger joint. Head spinning with rage. Cold night air hits me hard. Does nothing to cool the anger. Boiling in my chest. What the hell was that? He actually thought I'd sit there. Discuss sharing my wife. Like it's some kind of business arrangement. Get into my car. Grip the steering wheel tight. Try to steady my racing heart. Feel like I'm going insane. My wife is cheating on me, and her lover has the nerve to suggest I join them. Like we could all play house together. What kind of sick world am I living in? His face keeps flashing in my mind. That smug, self-assured look. Slam my hands against steering wheel. Horn blares briefly in quiet night. How has my life spiraled into this? What kind of man just sits there? Takes this kind of humiliation? Want to go back inside? Maybe throw a punch. Maybe something worse. But what would that solve? I'd just end up in jail. While they go on with their twisted game. Without me, can't go back home yet. Not now. Thought of seeing Lisa makes me sick. Can't face her. Not after what she's done. Not after what she's become. Phone buzzes in passenger seat. For a second, think it might be her. But when I pick it up, it's unknown number. Hesitate before answering. Not in mood for more surprises tonight. "Hello? Thought you might want to cool off. Before you do something stupid?" His voice. The lover. Nearly crushed phone in my hand. "How the hell did you get my number?" I bark. "It's not that hard," he says. Tone still casual, making me want to scream. "I asked Lisa for it. Thought we could talk this out." "Talk this out? I'm done talking. Don't call me again. Don't come near me. And stay the hell away from my wife. She's not just your wife anymore, man," he says, voice still infuriatingly calm. "That's what you need to understand. But it doesn't mean she doesn't still love you." This isn't black and white. Can barely comprehend what he's saying. Is this some kind of sick joke? "You don't get to decide that," I hiss. "Stay away from me. I'm just saying it doesn't have to end ugly. She's not trying to hurt you, man. She still wants you in her life. She wants both of us. We can make this work." My hand shaking as I end call. Throw phone onto passenger seat. Can't listen to him anymore. Feel like I'm losing my mind. How is this happening to me? How did I end up here? Sitting in my car. Marriage crumbling. While some random guy calls me up. Tries to sell me on idea of sharing my wife. Phone buzzes again on the seat beside me. Don't even look at it this time. Can't deal with him right now. Can't deal with her either. Can't deal with any of this mess. Just need to get away from everything. Need to clear my head somehow. Figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do next? Drive aimlessly through the streets for hours. City lights blur past my windows. Try my best to outrun my own thoughts. But no matter how far I drive, Can't escape the images playing in my head. Lisa tangled with him. Her voice so cool and detached, the way she suggested I join them. Like it was the most natural thing in the world. Like this was completely normal behavior. Eventually find myself on the outskirts of Phoenix. End up near the strip of budget motels. Row of neon signs flickering in the distance, casting strange colored glows over the empty streets. Not exactly a nice area of town, but definitely better than going back home. Pull into the parking lot of the cheapest looking motel I can find. One of those rundown places where people go when they've got nowhere else. Sit there in my car for what feels like hours, just staring at the flickering vacancy sign, watching it blink on and off. Maybe I should just leave town for good, pack whatever I can carry, walk away from this whole situation. But then the questions hit me. Where would I even go? And is that really what I want to do? Give up everything I've built with Lisa? Let some random guy just take over my entire life? Check my phone one more time. Screen shows no new messages or calls. Just that one call from him earlier. Part of me keeps wondering about Lisa. If she has any idea what he's doing right now. Does she know he followed me? That he's calling my phone? Trying to pitch this insane idea to me? About the three of us being together? Maybe she knows and doesn't even care. Maybe in her twisted logic, she thinks this is worth trying. That this could actually work somehow. Finally drag myself out of the car. Walk slowly to the motel office. My legs feeling heavier with each step. Like I'm carrying the weight of everything that's happened. Guy working the front desk barely looks up. Just keeps staring at his phone. Hands me a key without saying a word. From 213 at the far end, make my way down the narrow, dimly lit hallway. Past walls stained yellow with decades of neglect. Push open the door to my room. Place is small and depressing. Air thick with the smell of stale cigarettes. Ancient bed visibly sagging in the middle. But none of that really matters right now. Not here for comfort or luxury. Not even sure why I'm here at all. Just needed somewhere to escape. Throw my jacket onto the rickety chair. Collapse onto the bed without bothering to check the sheets. Lie there staring up at the cracked ceiling. Mind refuses to slow down. Keeps racing with thoughts I can't control. Pull out my phone again. Start scrolling through old photos like a masochist. Pictures of Lisa and me everywhere. Our wedding day in the garden. Vacation at the Grand Canyon. All those smiling selfies from happier times. Back when everything in life seemed simple. Back when I actually believed our marriage was solid. Something I hadn't noticed when taking them. But now it's painfully obvious. In all the recent photos, something's different about her. Her smile never quite reaches her eyes anymore. There's a distance there I somehow missed. How did I not see all these signs before? Was I really this blind the whole time? Had I just been fooling myself? Throw phone onto the nightstand beside bed. Can't look at any more pictures. Can't handle seeing those memories right now. The knot in my chest keeps getting tighter. No, I can't keep ignoring this forever. If I don't deal with it soon, it's going to tear me apart completely. But how? How do you even begin to fix something like this? Lie there for what feels like hours, just listening to the faint sounds outside. Distant traffic passing by. Thoughts spinning in endless circles. Sleep won't come. No, it won't. Not when everything I thought I knew is crumbling around me. Must have dozed off at some point, though, because suddenly wake up to knocking. Soft at first, almost hesitant. Then it grows louder, more insistent. Sit up in the darkness, room only lit by dim light, filtering in through dirty window. Check time on phone, 2:13 a.m. Who the hell could be here? At this hour? Get up slowly, every muscle in my body aching. Open door just a crack, ready to tell whoever it is to get lost. But when I see who it is, I freeze completely. Lisa, she's standing there, arms crossed over chest, her eyes searching mine. For a moment, we just stare at each other, neither of us knowing what to say. Then she speaks, voice soft, almost pleading. Can we talk? Don't know how to respond. Part of me wants to slam the door, tell her to go back to her lover. Leave me alone. But another part, the part that's loved her for years, wants answers. Step aside slowly. Let her in. She walks into small, dingy room, glances around like she's out of place, like she doesn't belong here. Hell, neither of us do. This isn't supposed to be our life. But here we are anyway. She sits on edge of bed, hands clasped in her lap, eyes avoiding mine. Stay by door. Keep my distance. Not sure I can trust myself. To be near her, without saying something I'll regret. I didn't know he called you, she says. After a long silence, her voice barely a whisper. I didn't know he would do that. Is that supposed to make me feel better? I ask. Keep my voice flat and cold. You think that changes anything? She shakes her head slowly. No, I just... Pauses, struggling with words. I didn't want you to find out like this. Find out what? I snap back. That you've been screwing some guy behind my back? That you thought maybe I'd be okay with it? If you just offered to let me join in? She flinches at my words. face growing pale in dim light. I know how it sounds, she says quietly. But it's not. It's not what you think. Laugh bitterly at that. It's exactly what I think, Lisa. You cheated on me. You betrayed me. Her eyes finally meet mine. See something in them I hadn't before. Fear, maybe. Or guilt. Can't really tell anymore. I didn't want to hurt you, she says, voice trembling now. Then why did you? She opens her mouth, then closes it again, like she doesn't have an answer, or maybe doesn't want to give me the real one. Either way doesn't matter. Damage is already done. Walk over to window. Stare out at empty parking lot. Why are you here, Lisa? I ask. After another long pause. What do you want? I don't know, she admits, voice small and uncertain. I don't want this to be the end. Turn to face her, hands clenched at my sides. What do you expect me to do? Forget what I saw? Pretend like none of this happened? She stands up, crosses small space between us. No, she whispers. Reaches for my hand. I don't expect that. But maybe we can figure this out. Together, stare at her, torn between the woman I had loved and this stranger standing in front of me. She's right about one thing. This doesn't have to be the end, but maybe it should be. Stand there frozen, Lisa's hand in mine, feeling weight of everything crashing down on me. Her touch, once familiar and comforting, now feels foreign, like it doesn't belong anymore. Part of me wants to pull away, sever connection completely, but another part can't let go. Not yet. Together, I echo back, voice thick with disbelief. What do you think there is to figure out, Lisa? You're sleeping with someone else? You asked me to join you. Like it's some kind of twisted solution. What's left to work out? She squeezes my hand tighter, her grip stronger than expected. I know I hurt you, she says softly. I know you're angry, but I don't want to lose you. Yank my hand free from hers, anger flaring up again. You already lost me. The moment you brought him into our bed, her face crumples, eyes shining with unshed tears. First real emotion I've seen from her since this whole thing started, but it doesn't move me. Doesn't change anything. I didn't mean for it to get this far, she whispers. I was just lost. I needed something different. Different? Laugh bitterly. Sound harsh and cold in quiet room. So you figured screwing someone else would fix that? Her lip trembles. It wasn't about fixing anything. It was, I don't know. I can't explain it. I felt disconnected. From everything. From you. From us. Stare at her, the woman I'd shared life with for years. Realize I don't know her at all. Not anymore. Maybe I hadn't for a long time. The disconnect she felt wasn't just on her end. It had crept into our marriage, without either of us noticing, until it was too late. And what? I ask. Voice low, barely controlled. You thought if I joined in, it would somehow make things better? She shakes her head, tears slipping down her cheek. I thought it would keep us together. That maybe it could be something we shared. The absurdity of it all hits me again, like punch to the gut. You thought sharing you with another man would save our marriage? I don't know, she cries, voice breaking. I don't know what I was thinking, okay? I was desperate. I didn't want to lose you. Her words cut deep, but they don't change reality of what she'd done. Desperation or not, she made a choice, and that choice had consequences. Room feels suffocating now. Air heavy with everything unsaid, all the words we've held back for far too long. I can't do this, I mutter. Step away from her. Need space. Need air to breathe. I can't pretend like this is something we can just talk through and fix. Lisa takes a shaky breath, wiping tears from her face. So what do? Just throw it all away? Turn to face her, anger simmering beneath surface, threatening to explode. You already did that, Lisa. The second you decided to cheat, you threw it away. Not me. Her shoulders slump, eyes filled with regret. And something else, maybe realization. Maybe she finally understands what she's done, or maybe she doesn't. Either way, can't stand to look at her anymore. I should go, I say, voice completely flat now. I need to figure out what comes next. Wait, she pleads, steps toward me again. Please don't leave. We can work this out. We have to. Shake my head slowly, heart heavy with weight of it all. No, we don't. Not like this. She freezes in place, face going pale, for first time tonight. See real fear in her eyes. She knows this isn't just another fight. Not something we can fix with apologies. And promises to do better. This is the end. Or at least feels like it. Grab my jacket from chair. Every movement slow and deliberate. Each step feels like dragging part of myself away. She just stands there watching, tears still streaming down her face, but she doesn't try to stop me again. She knows. As I reach the door, hesitate for a moment. Hand on doorknob. Part of me wants to say something. Anything. to make sense of this mess we're in. But what's left to say? The betrayal already happened. The damage is done. Leave the motel room. Without looking back. Drive again. This time with more direction. Though not sure where it leads. Roads mostly empty now. City quiet at this hour. My thoughts still as chaotic as ever. What am I supposed to do now? Go back to our house? Pretend everything's fine? Or pack a bag and walk away from it all? No, I need time. Space to think. But what will that accomplish? There's no blueprint for this. No clear path forward. Only confusion. Pain. An overwhelming feeling of betrayal. Phone buzzes again. Glance at it while driving. Half expecting Lisa, but it's him again. Clenched teeth in anger. Thumb hovering over screen. Tempted to answer. Just so I could unleash everything. All the rage I'm feeling. Let him have it. But stop myself. Can't give him that satisfaction. Instead, toss phone into backseat. Keep driving. Hoping distance will help. Help me figure out what to do next. Eventually end up in front of our house. Didn't mean to come here. Mind was on autopilot. And now here I am, staring at the place. That was once my sanctuary. Looks the same as ever. Calm, quiet. Like nothing's changed, but everything has changed. Can't walk through those doors without remembering what I saw. Can't look at Lisa without feeling weight of her betrayal. Crushing me. And yet can't leave either. Not yet. Step out of car. Cool night air brushes against skin. Walk up to front door. Hand hovers over doorknob for what feels like forever before finally turning it. Door creaks open. Step inside. House eerily quiet. Expected her to be there. Waiting. But living room empty. House feels cold. Like all life sucked out of it. Maybe she's upstairs. Or maybe she's not here at all. Don't care. Not at this moment. Walk through familiar space. Mind racing with everything? That's happened. How did we get here? How did everything fall apart so quickly? Or had it been falling apart for a long time and I just hadn't noticed? Eyes land on couch. Suddenly exhausted. Sit down heavily. Body sinking into cushions. Can't bring myself to go upstairs. To face the bedroom, where everything came crashing down. Not tonight. Lean back. Stare at ceiling. Silence pressing in. There's no easy fix for this. No quick resolution. This is something that will take time. If it can be fixed at all. As I sit there lost in thoughts, sound of footsteps echoes from hallway. Don't look up. Don't need to. Lisa stands in doorway. Eyes red and puffy from crying. She doesn't say anything. Just watches me, like she's waiting for some sign. Some indication of what comes next. But I don't have any answers. Not tonight. Lisa stays frozen in doorway. Her presence is heavy as silence between us. Weight of everything that's happened. Hangs in air, thick and suffocating. Can't even look at her. Not really. What's there to say? What could either of us possibly say? That would make sense of this mess? Sit on couch feeling like stranger. In my own home, it's late. Well, past midnight. House dark except for dim light. Filtering through window. Can feel her eyes on me. Waiting for me to speak. To break unbearable tension. But I'm not ready. Not yet. Eventually, she takes few tentative steps. Into living room. Sound of her bare feet on hardwood floor. Almost unnerving in stillness of house. She doesn't sit down. Instead stands there. Arms wrapped around herself. Like she's cold. But no, it's not temperature bothering her. It's distance between us. Distance she created. Are you going to say anything? She asks. Voice barely above whisper. There's tremble in it. Haven't heard before. Like she's afraid of what I might say. Don't answer right away. What could I say? That I'm angry? Hurt? Betrayed? Those words seem too small. Too inadequate to describe storm raging inside me. Can't even find energy to be furious anymore. Just feel empty. When I don't respond, she steps closer. But still don't look at her. Keep gaze fixed on random spot on floor. Like staring hard enough will make this nightmare disappear. I didn't want this to happen, she says. Voice shaking. I didn't mean for any of this. Those words, spoken so softly, hit me harder than expected. She didn't mean for it to happen. How does something like this just happen by accident? You don't just accidentally end up in bed with someone. It's always a conscious choice, a deliberate decision, and she made that choice. Over and over again, finally turned to look at her directly, my eyes narrowing with growing anger. You didn't mean for it to happen? Repeat her words back to her, voice dripping with bitter resentment. So what exactly happened then, Lisa? You just happened to trip and fall onto him? Multiple times, she flinches visibly at my words, the sharpness of them clearly hitting their mark. But I don't care anymore. Want her to feel something? Anything close to the pain she's caused me? She needs to understand completely what she's done to us, what she's destroyed forever, everything she's shattered with her choices. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses, she says, her voice trembling, barely holding together. And I know none of this makes any sense to you, But please believe me when I say, it wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to go this far. How far was it supposed to go exactly, Lisa? Ask her, my voice rising with each word. Was this just some fun little game for you? Some exciting little fling? Something to spice up your boring life? While I sat here like a complete fool? No, she cries out, eyes wide and desperate now, pleading with me to understand. Something that's completely beyond comprehension. It wasn't anything like that. You have to believe me. I never wanted to hurt you like this. But you did hurt me, say coldly. You didn't just hurt me, Lisa. You completely broke everything we had. You destroyed us. Fresh tears well up in her eyes, start streaming down her face, but for the first time ever. Feel absolutely nothing watching her cry. The sight of her tears, something that would have destroyed me before, barely even registers now. I'm completely numb inside, totally hollowed out by her betrayal. She sinks down onto the couch across from me, her whole face crumpling in despair, as the weight of everything finally hits her. I don't know how to fix any of this, she whispers, voice thick with emotion and tears. I don't even know if it can be fixed anymore. Lean back in my seat, run both hands roughly over my face, trying desperately to ground myself. In something real, anything other than this nightmare situation. Maybe it can't be fixed at all, I say quietly, the words tasting like poison on my tongue. Lisa looks at me like I physically struck her. Please don't say that, she begs in a whisper. Please don't say things like that. We can figure this out somehow. We just need to work on it. We just need to… To what? I interrupt immediately. Voice coming out sharper than intended. Talk it out? Go to therapy? Play happy family while you're still screwing some guy behind my back? Her face goes completely pale. No, I've hit a nerve. But again, I don't care. She deserves worse than just harsh words. She deserves nothing from me now. I don't know what to do, she says. Voice small and completely broken. I don't know how to make this right. You can't, I say bluntly. Finality of the words hits us both. At the exact same time, you can't make this right. Silence that follows is suffocating. She sits there with face in her hands, crying quietly in the darkness. And I just stare at her, feeling completely disconnected. This woman sitting in front of me, the woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, is a complete stranger now. Everything I thought we had, everything I thought we were, had been built on lies, or at least that's how it feels now. I don't want to lose you, she whispers. After longest pause, voice barely audible in quiet room. I still love you. Her words hang in air between us. But they don't reach me. They feel hollow, completely meaningless. What does love even mean anymore? Is this her version of love? Lying, cheating, betraying me, and expecting me to be okay with it? Stand up suddenly, unable to sit there any longer. Need space, need air to breathe. I can't do this right now, I say. Voice tight with emotion. I need to get out of here. Please, she says. Voice breaking completely. Don't go. Stay. Let's talk. Let's figure this out. I'll do anything. Pause at living room doorway, hand gripping frame. My back to her. Can hear desperation in her voice, but can't bring myself to turn around. There's nothing left to figure out, Lisa. Say quietly. Voice barely above whisper. I don't know if I can forgive you for this. With those words hanging in air, walk out. Leave her sitting there in dark. Her sobs echoing through empty house. Drive aimlessly again through dark streets. Mind a complete whirlwind of emotions. Part of me wants to forgive her. Fix things somehow. Salvage what's left of our marriage. But another part, the part shattered by her betrayal, knows that might never be possible. How do you come back from something like this? How do you rebuild trust when it's been so thoroughly destroyed? The thought of going back to her, of pretending we could work through this, feels impossible. But the thought of walking away, of losing everything we built together, feels just as unbearable. Find myself back at the motel, same rundown place from earlier. Not much of a choice, but better than going home. Check into same room, the one with sagging bed and stale air. Feels like fitting place to figure out what hell I'm going to do with my life now. Lie down on bed, stare up at cracked ceiling, mind still racing. Could I forgive her? Could I find way to move past this? Or is this really the end? And if it is the end, what comes next? As drift off into restless sleep, one thing becomes clear. There are no easy answers. Wake up in dingy motel room with throbbing headache, faint sunlight creeping through cracks. In the blinds, it's morning, but day feels wrong, like time has slipped away from me. Everything feels heavy. My body, my thoughts, even the air. It's kind of weight you can't shake off, no matter how hard you try. Sit up slowly, sagging mattress groaning under me. Run hands over face. Events of night before hit me, like punch to gut. Lisa, the affair, her offer to share him, Every detail comes flooding back. With brutal clarity, there's no escaping it. No way to push it out of mind. Haven't heard from Lisa since I left house. No calls. No messages. Check phone expecting something. Don't even know what. Maybe some desperate attempt to explain herself. But screen is blank. Not a single missed call. The silence is deafening. Makes everything feel more real. Toss phone onto bed. Stare at worn carpet beneath feet. Try to figure out next move. Part of me wants to disappear. Leave everything behind. Start fresh somewhere else. But no, that's not realistic. Too many loose ends. Too much unfinished business. Walking away wouldn't fix anything. Need to confront her. Need answers. Need to know why she did this to us. But at the same time, don't think I can handle hearing excuses. Don't think I can stand listening to her. Tell me it wasn't my fault. That she still loves me. That it didn't mean anything. Those would just be words. Empty words. That wouldn't change what she'd done. Grab jacket and leave motel. Cold morning air hits as soon as step outside. World is waking up around me. Cars passing by. People going about their lives. Like nothing has changed. For them it hasn't. But for me everything has. Drive without really knowing where going. Streets blur past in haze of indecision. Mind keeps cycling through same questions. Could I forgive her? Could I ever trust her again? Is it even worth trying? Eventually find myself parked outside house. Our house. Place where everything came crashing down. Sit there for a long time. Just staring at front door, wondering if I have strength to go inside. It feels like crossing line, like whatever happens next will define rest of my life. Door creaks as I open it. Sound echoes through stillness of house. Everything looks exactly same, like nothing had happened, but air is thick with weight. Of what took place here? The betrayal, the lies, the pain. It's all still here, lingering in every corner. Lisa sitting at kitchen table, hands wrapped around coffee mug. She looks completely exhausted, like she hasn't slept at all. Eyes red and swollen. Moment she sees me. She straightens up in chair. Her gaze locks onto mine. We stand there for a moment, neither saying word. Can feel tension between us. All the unspoken words. Hanging in air, waiting to be unleashed. But don't know where to start. Don't know if even want to start. Where were you? She asks quietly. Voice hoarse from crying. Shrug shoulders. Keep tone flat. Motel. She nods slowly. Fingers tightening around mug. I was worried. Why? Question slips out before can stop it. You made your choice. Figured you'd be fine with him. Her face crumples. Sets mug down on table. Hands trembling visibly. It's not like that, she whispers. You know it's not like that. Step further into room. Anger simmering just below surface. Do I? Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like that. She stands up. Crosses room to stand in front of me. Eyes pleading, but I can't bring myself to care. Not anymore. I made a mistake, she says, voice breaking. A terrible, horrible mistake, but it doesn't change how I feel about you. I never stopped loving you. Scoff at her words. Step back from her. You've got funny way of showing it. Please, she begs. Reaches for my hand. Just listen to me. Pull away from her touch. Physical distance matching emotional chasm. That's formed between us. I don't know if I can, Lisa. I don't know if I want to. Her face twists in pain. For a brief moment feels something. Pity maybe. But it's gone as quickly as it came. Don't want to feel sorry for her. Want to be angry? I deserve to be angry. She wipes at eyes, trying to hold herself together. I know I hurt you. I know I've messed everything up. But please, just give me a chance to fix this. To make it right. How? I ask. Voice laced with bitterness. How do you make right sleeping with someone else? How do you fix betraying me? She doesn't have answer. Not really. She just stands there, her silence speaking louder than any apology she could offer. Maybe you can't, I say. Voice softening despite myself. Maybe this is broken beyond repair. She shakes head vigorously. Tears falling freely now. No, it's not. We can fix this. We have to. Feel lump forming in throat. Swallow hard trying to push it down. You want me to believe that? After what you did? I wasn't thinking, she whispers, voice desperate. I was selfish. I was lost. But I don't want to lose you. I can't. Her words tug at something deep inside. Something I don't want to acknowledge. Part of me wants to believe her. To believe this was just a horrible mistake. That we could find way through it. But another part that had seen her with him, that had heard her offer. To let me join them. Knows better. I don't know if I can ever trust you again, I admit. Voice raw with emotion. And without trust, what do we have? She doesn't answer. She can't, because we both know truth. We don't have anything. Days that follow are complete blur. Empty conversations, half-hearted attempts at normalcy. Lisa keeps trying to reach me. Make me see that we can work through this. but keep my distance. Every time I look at her, all I can see is betrayal. All I can hear are her words, her offer to include me in her twisted little affair. Sleep in guest room most nights. Can't bear thought of being in same bed. Where she had been with him, house feels like cage now, trapping me in memories I can't escape. Everywhere I turn, there's a reminder of what happened, of how everything fell apart. Go back to work. Try to throw myself into daily grind. But even that feels pointless. Mind always elsewhere, always drifting back to that moment I walked in on them, like broken records stuck on repeat. Then one night everything changes. Just come home from work, tired and numb. When find him standing in driveway. The lover, he's leaning against his car, arms crossed, waiting for me. My pulse quickens. Rush of anger floods my veins. He sees me coming, straightens up. Smug grin spreading across face. Hey, he says, like we're old friends. What the hell are you doing here? I growl, fists clenching at sides. I came to talk, he says, takes step toward me. Figured we should clear the air. After all, we're all in this together, right? The audacity of this guy. He actually thinks he can waltz into my life, into my marriage, act like this is some kind of open arrangement we're all going to be okay with. You need to leave, I say, through gritted teeth. Now, he laughs, shaking his head like I'm being unreasonable. You're still angry, I get it, but you don't have to be. We can make this work. We can all get what we want. Snap without thinking, lunge at him, grab him by collar, shove him hard against his car. His eyes widen in shock. For first time, see flicker of fear in his cocky expression. You think this is a joke? I hiss. Face inches from his. You think you can just show up here and play house with my wife? He stammers, trying to get words out. But I'm not listening anymore. Done listening. Done playing nice. Release him. Shove him away with force. That sends him stumbling backward. He catches his balance, rubbing at his neck, where my hand had gripped him, his cocky grin replaced with something else, something more cautious. This isn't over, he mutters, climbing into his car. She'll come to me. You'll see. Speeds off, leaving me standing there, heart racing, hands still shaking with adrenaline. Stand there for a long time, watching taillights fade into distance, wondering how hell my life had spiraled this far out of control. Inside, Lisa is waiting, eyes wide with worry when she sees me. What happened? She asks, voice trembling. Who was that? Your lover, I spit, words tasting bitter on tongue. He thinks you're going to leave me for him. She looks horrified, face going pale. That's not true, she whispers. I swear to you that's not true, but I don't believe her. Not anymore. I can't. And as I stand there, staring at woman I had once loved, realize something. This isn't about forgiveness. This isn't about fixing anything. This is about survival. And I'm not sure if we can survive this. After that night, everything changes. Something in me snaps, breaks away. Didn't think was possible. Can't get image out of head. Her lover standing in our driveway. Smugness in his voice. Way he acted like he already won. Like I was fooling my own life. Anger I'd been holding back, now constant hum beneath skin, making it impossible to think straight. Begin avoiding Lisa more than ever. Coming home late. Leaving early. Making sure our paths barely cross. When we do speak, conversations are cold, distant, like we're both pretending. We still live in same reality, but we don't. Whatever we had before is long gone. Neither of us can admit it. Few days pass like this. Days filled with nothing but strange silence, unspoken tension. Then one night, find myself back in guest room, staring at ceiling, wide awake while Lisa sleeps in our bedroom. Been weeks since last shared bed with her. Thought of even being near her feels like betrayal of myself. Can't pretend anymore, but can't leave either. Not yet. Next morning, sitting at kitchen table, sipping coffee. When Lisa walks in, she looks fragile, like she's barely slept. Eyes red-rimmed, face pale. She sits down across from me, hands folded in lap, for first time in days. She speaks. We need to talk, she says, voice barely above whisper. Don't answer right away. Not sure if have energy for another round of her apologies, of her desperate attempts to fix something beyond repair. But look on her face tells me, this is different. There's something final about it. Something I haven't seen before. About what? I ask. Keep voice neutral. Detached, she takes deep breath, eyes fixed on table in front of her. I've been thinking about everything. About what I did. About us. Stay silent. Wait for her to continue. I don't think we can come back from this, she says quietly, voice trembling. I think I've ruined us, and I'm sorry, but I don't know how to fix it. There it was. Truth I'd been avoiding, finally spoken aloud. Part of me feels relief, like weight has been lifted. But another part part that still held onto idea of who we used to be feels shattered all over again. I don't know if there's anything left to fix, I say, voice steady but cold. You made your choice. She looks up at me, eyes full of regret. I know, and I'll never forgive myself for it, but you deserve more than this. More than me. Words hang between us, heavy with weight of everything unsaid. Can see it in her eyes. She's giving up, admitting this is the end. I didn't want it to end like this, she whispers, tears slipping down her cheeks. I thought we could find way through this. But maybe that was selfish of me. Can't deny pang of sadness, as watch her break down in front of me. This isn't woman I fell in love with. Years ago, this is someone else. Someone I don't recognize. And maybe I've been holding on to a version of her that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know what to say, I admit, voice softening despite myself. I don't know if I can ever forgive you. She nods, wiping tears with back of hand. I don't expect you to. I just want you to know that I never stopped loving you. Even when I messed everything up. Look at her. Woman I had shared my life with. Woman who had once been my everything. And realized that love isn't enough. Not anymore. Love doesn't fix betrayal. Doesn't erase what she had done. And even if part of me still loves her, that part isn't enough to heal wounds she left behind. I think you're right, I say. Voice barely whisper. Maybe this is the end. She closes her eyes, shoulders shaking, as she cries quietly, face buried in hands. Want to comfort her. Tell her it will be okay. But I can't. Don't have it in me. This is reality we're living now. Reality where damage is already done and no amount of love could undo it. For first time, I feel like I can breathe. It isn't relief exactly, but it's beginning of something else. Beginning of letting go. Leave house that evening. Head clearer than it's been in weeks. Sun setting. Casting sky in shades of orange and pink. For first time, feel like I'm stepping away. From wreckage of my life, Lisa and I hadn't made any concrete decisions, but conversation had been enough. We both knew what was coming, even if we hadn't said words aloud. As I drive, mind wanders to future. What comes next? Idea of starting over is daunting, but also freeing in way. Had spent so long wrapped up in this marriage, an idea of who we were supposed to be, that I hadn't allowed myself to consider what life could be without her. But now I have no choice. Drive aimlessly for a while. Radio playing softly in background. Road stretching out before me. Feels good to be moving. To feel like going somewhere, even if don't know where. Eventually find myself at bar. One of those quiet places, on edge of town, where people go to escape their lives. For a while, park car and go inside. Grateful for anonymity. Dimly lit room provides. Sit at bar, order drink. Let sounds of quiet conversation and clinking glasses wash over me. For first time in weeks, feel small sense of peace. It isn't much, but it's something. That's when she walks in. Hadn't planned on talking to anyone that night. Just wanted to sit there with drink and thoughts, have moment of quiet, away from everything that had been consuming me. But when she walks in, something shifts. She isn't like other people in bar. Carries herself differently. Confident but not cocky. There's quiet strength about her. Something that makes me notice her. Right away, she takes seat few stools down. Orders drink. Glances around room. Our eyes meet for brief second, and she smiles. Small knowing smile. Like she can tell. I'm carrying weight of world on my shoulders. For moment look away. Not wanting to engage. Not ready for this. Not yet. But something about her pulls me in. Find myself glancing back. She catches my eye again. This time she doesn't look away. Rough night, she asks. Voice light but curious. Chuckle darkly. Shake my head slowly. Something like that. She raises eyebrow. Studies me for a moment. Takes another sip of drink. You look like you've been through hell. Shrug shoulders. Not sure how to respond. Yeah, you could say that. Brief silence between us. But it isn't uncomfortable. Like she understands. Without needing to ask. Too many questions. You don't have to tell me anything, she says. Eyes meeting mine. But if you want to talk, I'm here. Strange sitting there. With this woman, complete stranger. Feeling like I could open up to her. Maybe it's the drinks. Or maybe just exhaustion. Finally catching up to me. But find myself talking. Not about everything. Not in detail. But enough for her to understand that I'm going through something. That has shattered my world. She listens quietly, nodding occasionally, but never interrupting. There's no judgment in her eyes. No pity. Just understanding. When I finish, she sets drink down carefully. Looks at me with kind of clarity. Haven't seen in anyone in a long time. Sounds like you've been carrying this around for a while, she says softly. Maybe it's time to let some of it go. Stare at her, unsure how to respond. She's right, of course. been carrying weight of Lisa's betrayal for so long that it had become part of me. But now, sitting here, talking to this woman, realize I don't have to carry it alone. I don't have to let it define me. Maybe you're right, I say quietly, surprising myself with admission. She smiles, that same knowing smile. That caught my attention earlier. You've got a lot of life ahead of you, she says. Don't let one mistake ruin it all. We talk for a while longer, about nothing in particular, just enough to fill space between us. As night goes on, feel something shift inside me. It isn't full release. Not yet, but it's beginning of something new, beginning of healing. When leave bar that night, don't feel whole, but feel lighter. Like maybe, just maybe, there's hope for future after all. As drive home, think about Lisa, about everything we've been through, and realize that while we might not survive this, I would come out other side, and maybe one day I'd find someone that was real.